Welcome to In the Money, sponsored by Flyer Financial Technologies, the company that builds cutting-edge technology designed to solve asset and wealth management firms' toughest trading workflows. In this podcast, we help advisors and asset managers understand how technology is transforming the wealth tech sector. We'll cover how to leverage technology for faster, smarter investment decisions, megatrends, and more. Now, on to the show.
Welcome to In the Money. I'm your host, Rusty Sommer, and if you don't know Flyer FT, we power the fintech you love and use every day. Today, we're doing something special. We've gathered some of the brightest minds in the financial industry to give their predictions for the most impactful trends and developments we'll see in 2025. We've got CEOs, founders, presidents, and managing directors all offering their unique insights into what the next year holds. These experts won't just be making predictions in a vacuum. They'll be diving deep into the ramifications of key factors shaping the financial landscape, including the ever-shifting political landscape. From policy changes and regulatory updates to global political events, we'll explore how political changes could ripple through markets and impact investment strategies. The transformative power of AI. We'll discuss how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and automation are poised to revolutionize finance, from algorithmic trading and robo-advisors to fraud detection and risk management. The evolving role of data and cybersecurity. We'll examine how the increasing reliance on data is impacting the industry and how cybersecurity threats and data privacy concerns are becoming more crucial than ever. The growing importance of sustainable investing. We'll explore how environmental, social, and governance factors are influencing investment decisions and shaping the future of responsible investing. The impact of demographic shifts and changing investor behavior. We'll look at how generational changes, evolving investor preferences, and changing demographics are reshaping the financial services industry. John O'Connell, the CEO of Oasis Group. What are your predictions for 2025 within our business? What do you think are kind of the big landmark things that'll happen?
So I'm going to bring this a little bit back to the AI wealth technology map that we produce, right? You're seeing more and more firms outside of that note-taking space. Think of firms like a Conquest Planning that's out there doing something in the planning space. Think of like an Arca that's out there doing some things with data management, data capability. I think you're going to see more and more of that. I mean, what I am most excited about in 2025 are the AI co-pilots that are embedded within technologies. Think of, for example, just at a really base level, if you're in your wealth platform and you said, what was the last RMD that this particular client took? What account did they take it out of? And what's their RMD remaining for this year? Fairly simple question. You might be trying to answer that question on the phone with a client. Well, today, you're going to probably do between 10 and 15 clicks, depending on what software you're in, to actually come up with that answer. And you might have a little scratch pad next to you where you're doing some calculation. What if you were to just type that into a search bar and it immediately popped the answer up for you?
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That's an AI co-pilot. So I do think what's most exciting for me in 2025 is you're going to be seeing firms that are technology firms in our space that are going to be trying to embrace these technologies in these co-pilot capabilities. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to drive an enormous amount of productivity in the space.
Kartik Srinivasan, president of Advise on Institutional.
I would say we're going to see a lot of the continuing trends around M&A activity, consolidation. There's a lot of private equity money that's fueling a lot of growth in firms. We're going to see bigger and bigger firms. Everybody's talking about when is the next $1 trillion RIA going to pop up? It's just a matter of when. So that's a continuing trend. Sure. We definitely are going to see the need to. Part of the trend around acquisitions is advisors need to be able to operationalize their business so that they are running an efficient practice and seeing organic growth and leveraging technology to get that scale in their business. And so we'll further see the use of technology proliferate to really help an advisory firm scale and run efficiently. So the investment in technology is going to continue to increase, which is definitely a good thing. We're still seeing advisors out there who are using potentially legacy, outdated technology, and we'll see a lot of those firms start to modernize and go with some of the latest technology. And then we've talked about AI. I think, again, AI is going to be a very big trend in 2025. And so my prediction there is we'll just see more and more technology that is leveraging AI to provide advisors that benefit, be an assistant to them, and take over a lot of tasks that typically employees are handling today, so that advisors and their employees and staff can focus on servicing the clients better.
Oleg Tishkevich, CEO of Invent.
What I can tell you, maybe not 2025, but in the next 24 months, we're going to see a significant reshaping of advisory business, emerging of new structures in terms of how you create a business in advisory space, different models and how you service a client, and the realm of possibilities of what's going to be doable in a very short period of time that was not ever possible even 3-5 years ago,
Right.
is going to completely change the way we approach things. And I believe that the future is literally, as I said before, each firm will become their own artist. They're going to create their own way of engaging with clients, working back office, and literally create their own apps.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to have their own apps. So every RIA right now is trying to kind of put something together, with some type of integration. But I see many, several clients actually want to say, you know what, I just want to create my own experience. So I'd say, you'll see in 25 and 24 more firms really creating a totally custom experience for their clients, literally building their own apps.
Kate Healy, CEO of Advocate IQ.
I think 2025 is going to be a year of so much change. There's not going to be one big thing. I think we're going to be seeing more consolidation. I think that the recruiting war, that war for talent is going to explode. Firms are going to have to pay more for people. And I think that technological advances, AI, we have just tipped the surface of what we can do with AI and how we can use it. What our challenge will be is how do we make sure that all the regulations and the laws and compliance keeps up with that so that we can do it. But I don't see one big change in 2025. I see constant. Every couple of weeks, there's going to be something new. So everyone's got to just stay on their toes.
Andree Mohr, President of Integrated Partners.
Great question. Obviously AI, I would like to say something different so everybody's not saying the same thing. But it is AI, and I do think that it will create the ability for really great advisors to stand out and separate.
Yeah.
But it'll also create the ability, some advisors just want to have a lifestyle practice and they serve these sets of people really well. That's great. But I think that if advisors pay attention to the right type of AI for their business, because it's just a tool in their toolbox, they can really create the business of their dreams. And I think that's so exciting. So people are afraid, and listen, AI is kind of terrifying because I'm like, it's crazy what it can do. But if you look at it from the perspective of the opportunities that it will create for you, 2025 is going to be really exciting.
Bill McFadden, President of Green Hill Investment Reporting.
Well, I think, unfortunately, you're still going to see a lot of focus on cybersecurity. It's just not going to come to an end. Now, I think having cloud native solutions is fantastic because you've got security kind of built in with those, but it's really everything outside of those. I think you see cybersecurity continue to be an issue. I think you're going to find that everyone here at MarketCounsel Summit that's sponsoring this summit is going to hear now for the umpteenth time about how advisors need to be more efficient.
Sure.
And so they're going to do everything in their power to ensure that advisors can get out the door and meet with clients, have meaningful dialogue, present results, plan for their future in a much more intimate way than really has ever been had before, because they're going to have the time for that.
Brian Hamburger, founder of MarketCounsel and chief counsel of Hamburger Law Firm.
It's going to be interesting to see how quickly the new regulatory regime can hit the ground running. There's a really interesting mix of inexperienced regulators and very experienced regulators. So I don't think it's all going to be growing simultaneously. The leadership within federal agencies is actually really important, right? Because if you look at what's transpired over the last several years, there's been a lot of crossover or what we often call duplicative regulation, right? You have the FTC going out there regulating AML instead of the SEC taking out, going out front, or you've got the Treasury Department taking the lead on that. So are we going to have leadership within these regulatory agencies that are going to allow them to have smart rulemaking?
Right.
Here's the interesting thing. People often will talk about that they don't want any regulation. Well, the reality is that everyone who runs a successful business does want regulation. They just want regulation that's really clearly articulated from the outset so that they can better predict where to invest and grow their business. And so I don't have a prediction. I have a hope. And my hope is that we can continue to see regulatory progress that is aligned with growth of an industry, and we'll get back, allow firms to confidently get back to being able to invest in the businesses that they care most about.
Joel Bruckenstein, founder of Technology Tools for Today.
I mean, I can point to a couple of things. I think with the new administration, there'll probably be a lighter hand in regulation, which will hopefully unleash even more innovation in the wealth tech space. But I think there's also risks, right? Because I think certain guidance needs to be provided so advisors can, have a good understanding of what's allowed and what's not allowed, and if it's not allowed, why it's not allowed, and does that make sense? So I think, because we're in a space where there's so much innovation, a little bit of a lighter regulatory hand would be very helpful, but I'm also cognizant of the fact with things like cyber and protecting privacy, that's also important, and advisors need to be cognizant of the fact that they are, most of them, fiduciaries. Correct. And they also need to be asking all the right questions about their vendors.
Robb Baldwin, President, CEO of Trade PMR.
The one thing that I see is what I mentioned earlier. We're coming out of the dark period.
Yeah.
We're going to start to see innovation again. We're going to start to see technology evolve and come out of places we didn't expect. We're going to see conferences like T3 start to have gigantic, enormous amount of vendors again. And we're going to start to see these technologies come out because it's so much easier to create platforms than it used to be. So I believe that that's going to be, the experience we see. It may not be in early 25, but we're starting to see a few vendors already creep up. And I really expect that to start to snowball in 2025.
Tony Stich, Executive Managing Director of MarketCounsel. Give me your prediction for 25. What's going to be the most impactful thing in wealth management in 2025?
Okay, well, that's very complicated because you have a new administration coming in, right? We're going to see a lot of changes at the SEC, we believe. We're seeing the proliferation of AI. I can't even say that word. We see Bitcoin at all-time highs, right? So I think there's so much unknown, right?
Sure.
That it's going to be hard to predict. But what I think is going to happen is we're going to see an economy growing. I think we're at kind of like we've seen growth so far. Sure. And I think that's going to create I have to be careful. I was going to say frothy environment, but I have to be careful now that I work for MarketCounsel. But what I think we're going to see is a lot of evolution in the space. And what we're noticing here at the summit is that point solutions, right? Those individualized solutions that offer technology for very special investors. We're going to see a lot more of that. Why? Because the millennials, those that are now becoming really kind of focused on retirement, thinking about the next stage of their lives, they expect something more unique, right? So I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a proliferation of more tools that are servicing that niche-based advice delivery process, coupled with, of course, AI, who's coming for us all.
Amy DeTolla, CEO of RIAs Advantage.
AI.
Yeah? Okay.
I do believe that AI will change everything.
Okay.
I know it sounds a little bit crazy and broad, but I do wealth tech venture, and I'm able to see a lot of new technologies that are coming about.
Sure.
And I do believe that it's the rapid pace of what we've seen in just the last 7 months. It's kind of
stunning.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I do believe that AI will start transforming our industry and transforming other industries very rapidly. For an instance, I saw something the other day where they can take a woman's mammograms over the years and look at hundreds and hundreds of them to predict that what looked 10 years ago could be cancer, just through AI. That one thing. So as scary as it is, I do believe that it's going to have a transformative effect on us, and I think it's going to be the year of where the door is open and there's no going back.
Thanks again for joining today's episode of In the Money. I'm your host, Rusty Sommer, and I'm fortunate enough today to have been joined by my very good friends, and I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to what they had to say. If you don't know Flyer FT, we power the fintech you love and use every day. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to In the Money, the show that delivers advisors, asset managers, broker-dealers, and other technology service providers the knowledge they need to navigate this industry. Don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Flyer Financial Technologies. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only.